I'm Tom, and let's talk about Dave Allen's next fight. He's just KO'd Johnny Fisher, so he has got a few options. Not crazy amounts, but a few options. So let's talk about his options, talk about what I think he should do, talk about what he's probably going to do, and just kind of discuss his options, right? Initially, someone who I think is potentially an option, they've just recently fought at a similar time, is Fraser Clarke. Fraser Clarke is on a rebuild of his own at the moment. He's on a bit of a bounce back of his own after the loss to Fabio Wardley. And he did come back and win in quite spectacular fashion in his comeback fight. Perhaps a bit sooner than some of us thought. Certainly sooner, well, not necessarily sooner than I thought, but the fact he's fought before Fabio Wardley fought, I think is a bit crazy. But fair enough to him. He wants to get back in there, wants to remain active, wants to keep active, wants to get busy and get back up to that top table. I understand it. And kind of what better way of doing that than fighting Dave Allen, who has just come off of a very good win against Johnny Fisher, knocking him out, clean knockout, who clearly is now of a bit of, I don't want to say pedigree, right, but it's clearly in a bit of regard. It's a domestic fight for both fighters. That could headline the UK. Fraser Clarke versus Dave Allen could headline a UK event, and it shows that Dave Allen gets another payday. It shows that Fraser Clarke is willing to fight somebody who's clearly got a bit of power behind his punch and make up for that Fabio Wardley kind of loss. But it also gives us an opportunity to see where Fraser Clarke is. Where is his confidence? How is his chin after that? What's happened? Because Dave Allen's going to test that, especially with his experience. And I think that's quite a good matchup. But that's one I quite like, actually. Fraser Clarke versus Dave Allen. I think it puts Fraser Clarke back up there on the domestic scene at the very least. As I say, it could headline the UK definitely. Another option would be Solomon Dakers. Solomon Dakers, this is a realistic fight. He's somewhat rising. It'd be career defining, certainly for Solomon Dakers if he were to lose. Potentially even for Dave Allen if he were to lose. So there's an option there in Solomon Dakers, who's a lesser known one, but perhaps not as well known as your Fraser Clarkes, but still known. It's not like he's an unknown fighter. He's not bad. He's not an awful fighter or anything like that. I wouldn't say it headlines. It's probably an undercard, but it's an option nevertheless. Another option would be Fabio Wardley versus Justice Honey Luzo. We've got that coming up this weekend. Really exciting fight. I picked Justice Honey to win that. So let's talk about Fabio Wardley versus Dave Allen first, as I predict, Justice Honey to win. That's an exciting fight. Stylistically, you've got two very different matchups there. If Justice Honey loses versus Fabio Wardley loses, Dave Allen versus either of them is a very different stylistic matchup there. And Fabio Wardley versus Dave Allen is a very exciting one. It's two punchers. One's super experienced, one's really not experienced. Super confident. Again, domestically, Fabio Wardley versus Dave Allen, you've got to think that headlines a UK show. You've got to think that headlines a UK show. Down in Portman Road, like the current one is, the Copper Box even maybe now. The O2 Arena might be pushing it a bit, but we haven't seen fights in there for a while. That's an option that I actually quite like. If Fabio Wardley is to lose, fighting Dave Allen is a very good route for him to go down. It's a very good route for him to go down. One that I think I like, Dave Allen versus Fabio Wardley, or Dave Allen versus Fraser Clarke. For both fighters, you know what I mean? For all three in that little triangle, I like it always. And then Justice Honey, again, look, if Justice Honey is to lose to Fabio Wardley, Dave Allen's a bit of a step down, not a bigger name. I don't like it quite as much as the Fabio Wardley one. But look, it's still a fight. It's still at a decently high level. It's a drop down, but one that he should, I'd expect Justice Honey to beat Dave Allen. I expect Justice Honey to beat him, just outbox him. I don't think Dave Allen's going to be able to catch Justice Honey, because I think Justice Honey has that experience, that professional style that would make him a tough night's work. So I'd expect him to be able to get the job done over Dave Allen. And the only other option I really think for Dave Allen is retirement, right? He's done a lot. If he's happy with where he is, if he's happy with kind of what he's done, perhaps retirement, right? You've got your money. If you don't want to have any more big fights, you've got your money. You've done your job. perhaps retirement. Depends what he wants. If he wants money, one more big fight. If he wants to see how far he can go, bit of a building block, see where he goes. He's still young, right? I don't think retirement's the right option. I think you either go for a couple more big money fights, or if you really want to try and build up a way up, I just don't think you're going to get very far. I reckon just go for it, and go for, my pick would be a Fabio Wardley. If Justice Honey beats Fabio Wardley, go Fabio Wardley. If Fabio Wardley beats Justice Honey, go Fraser Clarke. That would be my option, people. But you let me know your thoughts on all of this in the comment section down below. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure you leave a like, a comment, subscribe, and all other stuff works, people. Peace.